Good morning, Madrid. I'm delighted to be here with you guys today for this Modern Cloud Day. And first thing is that you might wonder why this is called Modern Cloud Day. The reason for that name is that we believe that we've entered in a new era for cloud computing. A new generation of cloud that really allows you to start really deploying real applications, real critical data, critical business applications to the cloud. If you look at the first generation of cloud, the adoption has been mainly driven by developers, development of new applications, dev and test. But not many customers have taken their complex applications that they have on-premise, core business, and moved these applications to the cloud. Not many. And many reasons for this that customers have talked to me about. Complexity, the cost, security, enterprise readiness of the cloud, many different reasons. And because of this, we've decided at Oracle to create a brand new generation of cloud infrastructure. What we call Gen 2, we call this Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, a brand new architecture built from scratch to address all these different challenges. We had a specific focus on security at all layers, specific focus on performance, on governance, and also the real motivation to bring to market a cloud that can be fully hybrid, but also fully multi-cloud. So really the whole idea here of this Gen 2 cloud is to provide a cloud architected for the enterprise, for that critical workload that matters. So we started nailing down the infrastructure first, all the building blocks with this brand new architecture. And then on top of it, we started developing natively on this infrastructure a whole load of services. Dozens and dozens of services. Just last quarter alone, we have released more than 40 different new services, brandly newly architected on top of this infrastructure. And we are going to continue down this path in terms of innovation. Up to the point where today, we have, on top of this brand new infrastructure, a full, complete platform addressing, obviously, compute, network, storage, so all these building blocks, but also security, governance, services for developing cloud-native applications, services to integrate applications together, services to support your innovations. So a whole range of services that are now available on top of this infrastructure. And we have started rolling this out around the world. We started the rollout of this Gen 2 infrastructure 3 years ago. And we started with 4 regions. There were 2 regions in the US, there were 2 regions in Europe. This year, at this time, we have live 16 different regions available around the world, in every continent. Next year, at the end of 2020, we will be at 36 regions deployed around the world. To give you an idea, that's a new data center rollout every 18 days for the whole course of the calendar year 2020. Huge investment in terms of CapEx and in terms of energy, in terms of resources to deploy these data centers all around the world. And we will continue from there to address more and more locations to bring these data centers closer to you. I'm also proud to say that in Europe, all our data centers are 100% powered by renewable energy. And this is a topic that is very close to our heart. And this is something that we are working on all the data centers as well to make sure that our carbon footprint with these environments is as low as possible. So we've done that rollout. We continue this rollout. Let's have a look at where we have spent our engineering, and we'll highlight a few elements that are big characteristics of this Gen 2 cloud. First of all, we focused on this security that is key for your data, key for your critical applications. And we've implemented security at all layers of the stack. At the lowest layer, at the infrastructure, this brand new design allows us for full isolation, physical isolation between the tenants, physical isolation between the tenant and our own control plane of the cloud, to make sure that we bring the highest level of security as low as possible in the stack. Now, if you go up one level, we've also introduced security at the operating system level by introducing Oracle Linux being now autonomous, where the operating system is able to patch itself as soon as a patch is available for security. Automatically, this is happening. So solving this issue of security at the OS level. We've done the same thing in terms of autonomy at the database level, where the database is able to patch itself as soon as a new patch is available. And we've introduced up the stack even more capabilities. One capability we just announced is called the maximum security zone. Even with all this security enabled, you still could make mistake. And we've seen customers doing so, creating real security breaches. We created that concept where maximum security zone, the highest level of security is implemented. You cannot disable it. You cannot have your storage visible from the public internet, even if you want to try to make that happen. You cannot have IP addresses visible from the public internet, and so on and so forth. So all this is totally enforced from the security zones for your critical workload. And it's also security at the edge of the cloud to prevent attack to happen in the cloud. So we've created this Cloud Guard concept, which is monitoring the cloud 24/7, detecting if there are some suspicious activities, suspicious attacks, and remediating these attacks even before they happen, before they reach the cloud. So a whole range of capabilities to really ensure that your critical data, critical applications are fully protected at all layers of the stack. Now, another big focus we've done in engineering for this new architecture has been on performance. Performance with the highest level of performance in the market, but performance means many different things in the cloud. Of course, it's great to have great response time, and you get that with that level of performance. But performance in the cloud means two additional things. The first thing that it means is, especially for this enterprise critical workload, is to have a predictable performance. A performance that is always constant. A performance that you can count on. And given the architecture we've put together, we are able not only to predict that performance, but we are able to guarantee it by SLA. Performance of the network, performance of the storage, and this is something guaranteed by contract by SLA, unique in the market. Now, performance means another thing in the cloud. Performance is directly correlated to price. When you're billed by the hour, if you can do twice as much in that hour, that means you pay twice as less. That's as simple as that. So by having this high level of performance, we are able to have a very, very interesting economic of our cloud adoption, both in terms of pure price or price performance. And we've made a very conscious decision to have the price to be very predictable. No hidden cost. Everything is totally clear from the get-go. We don't charge for network egress. We don't charge for different type of storage throughput. Everything is totally predictable, which is what you want when you embark in a real cloud project. Now, another thing that is important when you are looking at moving existing applications to the cloud is that everything is not Oracle technology. I mean, you've made investment on-premise today that you like to move to the cloud. So 3 things that we've done to address that. The first thing is, in the last 2 decades, a lot of our enterprise customers have invested on-premise on Microsoft technology and Oracle technology. Just a fact. And when it comes to move this to the cloud, either you move everything to Azure, not ideal for the Oracle type of workload. You move everything to the Oracle cloud, might not be ideal for some of the Azure workload. So we've decided with Microsoft to enter into a technology partnership to allow our joint customers to move their applications to the cloud just like if it was only one cloud. You can move some elements to Azure, some elements to the Oracle Cloud. The two clouds are interconnected with low latency type of private connection. You have single sign-on across the two clouds, and you can really deploy your application just like if it was one data center. So allowing you to deploy this joint workload. The second thing we've done to address some investment you've made on-prem is an agreement and partnership with VMware. Most of our customers have invested on-premise on virtualization with VMware. How do you move that workload to the cloud? So we have just introduced a partnership that allows us to run the VMware workload on our cloud natively. You can run VMware workload on other clouds, but the other clouds, they provide you with VMware as a service, managed by VMware in a separate environment of the data center with a fixed version supported. We've done a different approach. We are supporting VMware natively on our bare metal infrastructure. We've built a layer 2 network to support that. That means that you can take your VMware Foundation investment and move it as is to our cloud. Same version, same operating model. You can use it to burst your workload to the cloud. You can use it for a DR or for a full migration. So very significant announcement we've made with VMware here. A third thing is that you are very likely using some other applications like ISV application, independent software vendor. So we've created a marketplace where you can find all these different applications that you might use in your company and implement them or provision them right from that marketplace and even pay for these applications directly from the same universal credit model that we have in our cloud. So all here, the whole point is to simplify your move enterprise workload, be it Oracle and non-Oracle. Now, in terms of adoption, we see various different types of adoption, but there are a lot of investment on premise today that have been made on our applications. JD Edwards, eBusiness Suite, PeopleSoft, Siebel. A lot of you in the audience might actually use these applications. And we've seen many customers wanting to take these applications and move them to the cloud so that they can reduce the cost of data center, operation cost, and so on and so forth. So we have automated the migration of this workload to our cloud so that you can do this lift and shift of these applications and get the benefits of cloud computing when on our cloud. It's also not just moving the applications, but this concept also of move and improve, where customers can take and you can take your custom applications you've built with a database and move these applications to our cloud, start to refactor the application, start to take advantage of the various new services that are at your disposal to really improve the way these applications can be run and operated. And obviously, another type of use cases is to use the cloud to build brand new cloud-native applications with all the new services we've introduced in that space in terms of open source projects. Few customers here to highlight that have done this kind of a move of their critical applications. I just highlight very quickly. 7-Eleven, largest convenience store chain in the US. Full eBusiness Suite environment, multiple environments that they had, decades of work. They moved everything to the cloud. And they've done that in a few months. Circle K, very large gas station chain available around the world. They've moved their JD Edwards environment to the cloud. CERN in Switzerland, manipulating a whole lot of data. They've taken all their custom applications that they've built with WebLogic, with the Oracle database, all moved this to containers running on Kubernetes in our cloud. And I can go on and on with examples of that sort. Now, everybody cannot go to the cloud. Some workload cannot go to the cloud for some reasons, technical regulations. So we've made a conscious decision when building this whole ecosystem, this whole portfolio, to allow for hybrid deployment. Take the example of the database. You can take Exadata on-premise, where you manage everything in your own data center. You can adopt the exact same thing in our cloud as a cloud service, but you can also adopt it as what we call cloud at customer, where still a subscription, the exact same thing as we have in a public cloud, where we bring in a machine within your own data center, still managed by Oracle. And we have announced the availability of Cloud at Customer, which is exactly aligned on the same architecture, Gen 2 architecture, as I've previously described. In terms of database, a lot of feedback that we've received from you is we have so much data that we can actually process, and it's actually extremely costly to manage all this environment and to operate these environments. That's why we have created the concept of autonomous database, where we believe that the combination of machine learning, AI, with the almost infinite power of the cloud in terms of compute, allows the software to manage the software itself. So we have implemented that for the Oracle database, where it's self-driving, self-tuning, creates the indexes by itself, manages by itself, scales by itself, secures totally itself by applying the security patches, encrypting the data, repairs itself when there is a problem and there's a DR automatically baked in. So all this has been implemented on the autonomous database, and we've just announced that this autonomous database concept, currently available only in our public cloud, will also be made available on this Cloud at Customer concept I've just talked about in the course of 2020. So you'll have the choice of deployment of this autonomous concept as well. Now, data, it's not only a question of IT. A lot of people here in the audience are IT professionals. Now, the data is also a critical element for all the line of business that are your customers as IT professionals. Every line of business manager is making all the decisions, and a big part of their job is actually to manipulate data, to get the data, slice the data, to really get insight and make the right decisions. But very often, this line of business, they don't have the capacity, they don't have the skills to manage an environment for providing this data. So what we have done here is this autonomous concept, we have applied it to the autonomous data warehouse. So line of business are able to fire up a data warehouse in a few minutes without any IT required to manage the data warehouse, with all the analytics tools and services to get all the insight that they need from this data, really allowing them to get access and democratize the access of this data for all this line of business. An example of this is Hertz. We all know Hertz as a rental company. They have thousands of locations around the world. Each and every one of these locations, they want to have access to data about the finance information. Which is the location that is working well? What is my financial data for my own location? So they are using the autonomous data warehouse and these analytics tools to provide to each location the access to this data, to really decentralize all the decisions and giving access to the data to the line of business that really needs it. And finally, there is something that is important, is you can hear about this Gen 2 cloud the whole day if we want. But what's important is really to test it. As IT professional, the best proof is by actually starting implementing some of these services and testing these services. We have all the services in our cloud, all free for trial for 30 days. We just introduced something called the free tier, which means some of those services, not only they are available for free for 30 days, but some of the services, we give them for free for as long as you want, meaning as long as you are using them. So there are some of these services that you see on the screens that once you sign up for a trial, you can use these services for as long as you want, so that you have the time to test the technology, see what this technology means for your own business, and see how you like to implement these different services and move your applications to this cloud. I highly encourage you to use this mechanism to test this technology. I strongly believe that this new generation of cloud will have a significant impact across the entire industry. And I strongly believe that this will allow you, as customer, to take your critical applications that you have in-house and to start getting all the benefits of cloud computing for all these applications. With this, enjoy the rest of the day, and thank you very much.